sounds like it.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Wow. Peripheral arterial disease, I hope I said that right, or PAD can be dangerous, especially if you don't know you have it. It's a condition that can alert doctors to the telltale signs of stroke and heart attacks.
And joining us now is Dr. Jim Beckman, a cardiologist with North Colorado Medical Center. Dr. Beckman, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Tell us about PAD, because not a lot of us have heard about it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. And you are correct that maybe it hasn't been as well dispersed as far as maybe heart disease, but peripheral arterial disease occurs in the periphery, and we're going to be talking mostly about the legs, and it is the obstructive disease that occurs. And as you can see in the video, with time, the flow pattern in the artery is changed because that yellow fatty plaque that's developing restricts the flow in the artery. And as seen here in the model, it also shows that as with time, the flow is reduced.
And what are the symptoms then for people? Are there symptoms?
Well, it turns out that symptoms are varied. Only about 10% of the people with PAD have the classical symptoms. 40% of the people, when they have PAD, will have atypical symptoms, something that may not be expected. Another 40% that have PAD won't even have symptoms. And part of that is that they don't exercise, they don't walk. So the symptoms vary. Symptoms typically are going to be a burning or a cramping or a vice-like sensation in the calf with walking. Usually it's worse if they're walking up a hill, if they're trying to walk stairs, or they're trying to walk briskly. A lot of people won't recognize that they even had the symptoms because they slowly back away from their walking pattern or their exercise pattern. It hurt to walk, so I don't walk, I feel fine. So the symptoms may actually have been present, but they felt, over the years, I was getting older, I shouldn't be able to do as much. So they actually have backed away from their walking routine. So it can be slowly debilitating.
You brought a model, too, with you. We didn't get to see that when we were in video, but the model shows what?
Well, the model shows, again, that the inside of the artery, as the plaque, the yellow here, develops, it narrows. So there's restriction in blood flow, and this is what's causing the discomfort down in the legs. So we want to detect this early before it gets to the point of maybe even get little ulcers on the feet or the toes that don't heal. People that are particularly at risk are going to be the diabetic, the smoker, the person that has hypertension, or the person that has high cholesterol.
So you're going to test out Chris.
Yes, I volunteered.
Yes, Chris graciously volunteered for this. So you can go ahead and test Chris. So you talked about people with diabetes and people who smoke, they're more at risk. Is there an age group Is there an age group that's more at risk?
Well, there's an age group, and it turns out that if you're less than 50 years of age and diabetic with one of those other risk factors, then you probably should have what we're going to be doing here, an ankle brachial index, an ABI. And it's a comparison of the blood pressure in your leg to the blood pressure in the arm.
And it's important to take it on the calf. And you can go ahead and do that as we're talking, but it is important to take the blood pressure.
Well, one of the things that
yeah.
Correct. I'm going to slip your shoe off.
That's fine.
And one of the things that turns out is that you are more likely to take your shoe off at DIA than you are in your physician's office or your provider's office.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to look at feet and the effects of flow in the leg.
Okay, so what are we listening for here?
Well, that's,
okay, there you go.
I am alive. That's
Your
good.
heart is beating.
and so all we do is we check the.
So you're checking.
I'm actually just doing the blood pressure in her leg, and I would have checked it in her arm already. So I have a blood pressure in her arm, and then I'm actually just checking the blood pressure with the Doppler probe down at her ankle.
Okay, and how does she sound?
So you heard it coming back, and so she's nervous. It's up a little bit.
Yeah.
So then I would look and see how does it compare in the leg to the arm.
Right.
And then there's grades of severity. And a normal ABI should be equivalent, or at least 90%, or 0.9 to 1.
Okay.
Anything less than 0.9 will make the diagnosis of PAD.
Okay.
And once we have PAD, PAD is important to know because of its risks. Not that it just slows you up, but it turns out that PAD is probably a very aggressive form of atherosclerosis.
And is Chris okay just from the test?
This is okay. I didn't actually measure her arm pressure.
Okay, so you have to compare that.
I can't say.
Quickly before we go, because we're running out of time here, how important is it for people to get diagnosed?
It's very important.
Quickly.
In about 5 years, 30% of the people are dead that have a diagnosis of PAD. What does that compare? If you look at breast cancer, it's around 11 to 15%. So significantly worse. 20% of those will end up with PAD, will end up with a stroke or a heart attack.
Okay.
And then it is debilitating for their mobility.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, we've run out of time, but thank you. If you'd like to learn more about PAD, we have posted a link on our website, cbs4denver.com. We'll be back.